Hi, my name is Mandolin Royal, and today I'm sitting out in front of Rooster Coop with the crew of Rhode Island Red cockerels. They're right at 14 weeks old. There's also two token Easter eggers. One is sunbathing right there. And in addition to weighing and handling your birds, you do want to take the time to sit around, watch, observe, compare them to each other. Right now I'm just sitting on a 5-gallon bucket, which makes just about the most portable chair you could hope for. Now these guys didn't come from exhibition show stock. They came from a hatchery. We started off with 26. We're down to 17. And that's because we do not worm our flock, we do not medicate our flock, we do not vaccinate our flock. We don't do anything above and beyond high quality feed, ample space, and fresh water. They got to be able to hack it on their own, and they got to be able to be an actual self-sustained flock with very little intervention. So with that in mind, we did have a couple of losses, and that's part of it. Nothing was out of the ordinary. Early on, the issue was coccidia, and we don't medicate for that, so I wasn't really surprised. These guys have not been bred for hardiness in that regard, and anytime you have birds that are new to you, you kind of gotta feel them out and see where they're at and see what they need, and then you have to make those decisions on what you're willing to do for them. Now these guys, I started opening up their pop door on this coop when they were 8 weeks old, and they have not been excited to get outside and do chicken things. So today, in order for us to get a good look at them, I forced them all outside and I shut that door. I also pulled out their little hidey hole, which is my winter brooding box. They have totally aged out of needing that, and they're still using it out here. They've got a lot of space they can go be utilizing, but instead they're hovering by the door, which actually works out pretty well for catching a video of them. Some of the stuff I'm noticing is there might be one pullet. I don't see her right now, but when I do see her, I'll zoom in. The boys, they're starting to get their glossy male feathers. They're molting and growing in feathers right now at this age. Most of them are coming in with reasonably correct coloring, but almost every single one of them is knock-kneed, tall, and leggy. So this particular line is a very slow maturing line. They're going to end up with that boxy shape much later. It's going to be at least another 10 weeks before we start seeing that. And they're probably going to be in the freezer before that point. So these guys, I'm growing them for my meat buyer, and I told him 4 more weeks on this batch. Right now though, historically speaking, this is the time to get fried chicken. Fried chicken you want to harvest from 10 to 12 weeks up to 14 weeks. And that is for peak tenderness without having to pre-cook the chicken to fry it. So back before the commercial hybrids were common, people were going through their boys and snatching out the early ones that they knew they weren't going to use, and they were going ahead and putting them in a skillet and making fried chicken. I could have started doing that 2 weeks ago from these. I handled a couple of them. Some of the bigger ones, they didn't feel that meaty. But again, that's not surprising. But they are doing a great job at making me feel pretty good about what we have going on in the American breasts and the decisions I made there in looking for that earlier growth, that earlier flushing, without avoiding the laying, since the American breast can lay eggs pretty early and they can come to dinner pretty early. These guys are going to be quite a long wait in comparison, and they're probably not going to flesh out anywhere near the same. But my meat buyer was telling me he was tired of the white birds. In his country, the birds are all different colors. They don't have commercially available hybrid chickens, and they've been eating the same chicken for, gosh, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And it hasn't changed much. Corporations aren't there providing chicken for them. So he's A-okay with this type of bird. It's very similar to what he gets in his home country, and they have a preference for that flavor profile. They have a preference for how they look. So that's cool. He did give me the opportunity to grow these out and see what's going on. It's hard to see if the pullet has come out yet. The sun is making a pretty good glare. That might be her, way back in there behind that guy. She's not getting the sickle feathers on the tail. She's not getting the glossiness on the hackle, the shoulder, or the saddle. I'll be alright with an extra female. She'll make eggs, and these guys are not going to do that. Developmentally, there's a lot of differences. There's some disparity in growth rate. Some are small, some are medium, some are large. So let's pretend for a second that you were looking for the it boy out of this group to keep for breeding. And with this range of trait expression, and with them being a dual purpose breed, you would want to go through and weigh them all and find your heaviest guys and then figure out their other traits from there. Some of these are pretty small, so they would automatically be out. Most of them do have the right yellow colored legs. They're starting to get their darker mahogany coloring in, and that's the ideal color for a Rhode Island Red. They're not supposed to be bright red. They're supposed to be like a really rich mahogany color. That's one of the Easter eggers. He's been pretty funny. He fancies himself the leader. And he has the best leg set out of all of them, which is funny because he's just a regular old hybrid layer type bird. But I figured I'd take a minute, show you what's going on here. Maybe as the afternoon goes on, they'll adventure a little farther from home. But I bet if I open that door up, they're gonna go right back inside, take their little afternoon siesta. There's so much free food out here for them. So every morning now I'm gonna be running them outside to go take advantage. That's where the most flavor comes from. Bugs and pasture. So we'll see. 4 more weeks to go. Though it's kind of tempting to pull out 1 or 2 and fry them up to show you guys what some vintage type fried chicken would be like. I don't know. I'll think about that. I've got more chores to do. So more on this later.